Hello, and welcome back to my garden. I feel like most of my videos lately have been indoors or in my little indoor greenhouse, not so much in my garden. Today is maybe our last frost date. It is April 10th. So it's at least a week early for my area, but we have a 10-day forecast with no frost. And we just had 2 frost nights in a row, and neither of them affected my garden whatsoever. Even though I have a couple frost tender seedlings in my garden. So even if I get another frost, maybe we'll be okay. It's this risky up and down kind of time of year where another one could come. But ooh, I wanna put seeds everywhere and started plants everywhere, so we'll see. But where I am right now is a brand new bed I built last night, and I wanted to just give you an update on this and then show you around my garden and show you what came back from last year and where we're at, and sort of talk out loud about what my garden plan is, because this year I didn't garden plan, and normally I spend a lot more time putting pen to paper to plan out things, count seeds, how many I need, how many extra I have, do I want to give something away, sell some plant starts, things like that. But this year it's a little more up in the air in a good way. I'm enjoying the freedom of, like, I'm just gonna start what I want to start in my greenhouse, plant what I want to plant, and it might be a little chaotic, but that's okay. So I'll give you a tour. This right here is just a small metal bed, and it's just meant for flowers. So it's not the biggest capacity, and it's not the tallest either. Behind this screen is a cattle panel trellis up on my shed. So I ideally would like to have climbing flowers here. My goal, I think, is to do a nice row of snapdragons, different colors. I might put some foxgloves in here because I have some starts and I have 2 packs of seed. I know that they're poisonous, but my dogs do not eat anything in this garden, and I'm not too concerned about any of us. I think they're so pretty. So I think I want to put some of those, and then in the back closest to the wall will be those vining flowers. Then I have my table that's new this year with a bunch of seedlings on it. I've started some more. I've got 2 more trays. This one's empty, and I want to fill that maybe today. And this has a number of rows that are empty, but these ones I started in a video recently, and some of them are taking a little bit longer to germinate, but all my nasturtium are taking longer than I expected. There's tiny seedlings coming up on this one, seedlings coming up here. All of those are up. All of those are up, and same thing with my snapdragons. There's the tiniest green right there. But those are taking a while as well to germinate, which is totally fine. They take a little bit of time. And then I have a little, I had indoor plants in there at some point, but I have a container down there, and I want to make it kind of a centerpiece on this table and keep it on here. I'm curious what you guys think I maybe want to do as a centerpiece. I was thinking maybe basil or something that smells really good. And I don't want it to sprawl, so I think basil is like upright enough. But let me know if you have any other ideas. Down here is my fruit plants. This one's a blueberry, another blueberry. They're 2 different types. I don't remember the variety of this one. And this one says blueberry buckle. This is a fig tree that we got from a coworker who just gave us a stem. So that has been in my greenhouse for maybe 14 months, something like that. It's taken a while, but it looks okay. It got some damage when I was trying to harden it off and take it outside, but I think it's going to be just fine. It's pretty resilient. And then my 2 goji berry plants over there. These are not my favorites, and at the beginning of every season I say, like, I could just get rid of them and be happier because they kind of sprawl. They go all into walkways, so I always end up keeping them, mainly because I really do like the blooms. Let me see if I can show you this. It's the first one of the season, but they're so cute. And the berries are nice, you know, good to have in smoothies and stuff. I don't really tend to eat them. They're a little bit too sour for me, but they are pretty fun to have. And everybody likes to hear, you grow goji berries? That's crazy. So I don't know, they'll stay for now. This garden bed in the middle is new. I'm hoping the soil will be okay. A lot of it is compost, so I might top it with a little bit of bag soil, but this is going to be peppers this year. That's why these sticks are in here. This is me denoting how many I think will fit in here. There's some broccoli that is not going to make it. It's going to get too hot too fast, so that'll be gone. And then some onions right down here. This garden bed, I was originally going to put flowers, so it'll be kind of on the edge of the garden, which would be nice. But since this bed right here has so many tiny seedlings, because I chaos sowed so much, I think I'm going to change out my plan. This is going to be my second flower bed, devoted to just flowers, just pretty things, cut flowers, zinnias, snapdragons, whatever I kind of feel like. That'll be there. This will be either another location for peppers, because I probably need the space, or I will maybe use this for okra or something that I haven't grown very much of. I've grown a couple okra plants, but they grow really, really tall, so I really need a dedicated space for them. But this is my runover space where if I need more space in the rest of my garden, I have it. Moving up here, I'm going to try to block the wind. This is an herb bed right here. My oregano has taken over the bed, and I love it. It came back lush, which is awesome. I thought that this was a like a chive. I don't know what it is. It's too flat. It looks like grass, but it hasn't flowered like a weed normally does. So I don't know what that is, but I've left that alone. And then there are actual chives all behind it. Those are from seeds that I've started just a couple weeks ago. The bed right behind it, this was previously my tomato bed. And one of the reasons I'm having trouble garden planting this year is because I'm switching out which beds have what. I'm doing a little bit of a crop rotation. So this had tomatoes last year, and it had a cattle panel wall behind it. It worked extremely well. I really liked how it worked. But this year, this is where the rest of the peppers will go. So these two are dedicated pepper beds. That one over there will be the runover in case I need more space. My giant middle bed right now has peas, which are a little bit behind schedule, which stinks. That's also a lesson learned for me. I'm going to put my peas out way, way earlier. But there's a bunch of those there. Some onions are lining the border, and then the rest of it is garlic. And the garlic will be harvested mid-June, so this will be empty for the rest of the season, which means I'm going to feed all the soil once the garlic is out and then plant any leftover peppers. I grow so many peppers, y'all. This bed was so good and gave me the best peppers I've ever grown. So I know the soil was good, which is why I dedicated it to garlic this year. So I wish I had this bed again for peppers because I loved it so much, and it was easy access because I have access from so many sides, but it's okay. I'm really happy that this garlic is doing as well as I expected it to do in this bed. So we have tons of different types. We've got Chestnut Red, the Insulin garlic, and an early Italian at the end. And then we have more garlic here. There are two types with, there's the things. This is the music garlic, and then this is more of the, I believe it's the chestnut. This is the rest of the chestnut. And underneath there's a bamboo stick that's denoting, oh, here it is. There it is. This is the chestnut. This is the music. And these are the Italian or the Egyptian walking onions. And some of them are coming down, which maybe they were hit by something. Maybe my dogs have been running through here. I'm not sure. I'm going to chop a bunch of these off and relieve some of the crowding in here. But what you'll notice at the top are these nubs. And some of those nubs are starting to open up, which means they're going to give us the tiny onion bulblets that give it its name. So these will turn into bulblets, which will get heavy. Usually there's like 4 to 6 bulblets at the top of this, and they kind of look like they're in a flower formation, and they get really heavy. And when they get heavy, this whole thing will drop down, and those bulblets essentially will feed themselves or drop themselves into the soil and replant themselves. So this was just a tiny bunch originally, and just in 1 year they've tripled in size. My goal is to take some of those bulblets, let them drop over, but the ones that drop over the edge, I'm going to replant and probably fill this entire bed with these, because I use these for seasonings and for cooking, and I really, really like them. So right here, there used to be a bunch of flowers. I'd like this to be a little less competitive with flowers. I might grow some tall things like zinnias in the exact middle where that light is. But I want more space for the trellised foods, like the tomatoes, things that are going to grow really, really tall up these trellises, and not squish them so close. Like I normally would plant them kind of like these peas right under the trellis. I'd like to plant them more central and have them lean. I think that'll give them more space for their roots to expand and probably give me higher yields. So this will be a little less competitive. Normally this is flowers because it's not accessible from this side, or from this side. It's only the stone that I'm standing on. So it's not really easy for accessing things like beans unless you're reaching through the trellises, but it's a little bit annoying to do that. You really kind of have to fight the trellis and fight whatever's growing on the trellises. So this is kind of my up in the air area that I'm not completely confident on. I did plant a bunch of onions down here. These I've been growing in my greenhouse inside. And maybe next year, because they don't really need to be accessible as much, I might use this whole area next year for just onions. Keep them all in one space, keep them all central, because as you've heard me say, there's onions on the border of here and onions over here. So maybe next year I'll just keep them all in one place. But that's just me thinking out loud. At the end, there are two green stalks again, and then my original first blueberry bush, which I really like. And I think lastly, because I don't think I talked about this one, my last garden bed, this is going to hold tomatoes for sure. This has one of the sides of the cattle panel arch, and I like the idea. I love the smell of tomato plants, so I like the idea of sitting at the table and getting wafts of that tomato plant smells, and then being accessible to eat cherry tomatoes from the table and strawberries right there. Like I think that will be a lovely aroma to be going on right next to the table that we sit at every single day. So right now there are some seedlings right here that seem to be getting kind of munched on. So I'll be curious what is actually doing that, because I don't see any bugs right here, but there's peas lining the back, and that's about it. A couple chives, and I think I put poppy flowers here, poppy seed flowers. I'm pretty sure that's what those are. So yeah, I think it'll be nice. All right, we are in the back corner of my garden, and this bed is my special bed. It is my goth garden. Now this right now has a bunch of seedlings in it. Almost all of these will come out. This I think is sunflowers that reseeded from last year, and I don't know if they're the purple type, so I might leave them. We'll see. They're kind of crowded in here, all in one space, but the rest of it, there's a couple purple kales that maybe will stay, but otherwise the rest of the seedlings probably need to go. In here, I have some foliage that's really dark purple that's really going to look lovely. Last year I had a purple or really dark black red colored elephant ear that was gorgeous, so I think that needs to come back this year again. And then I'm going to experiment with some really dark colored, goth colored plants. I love this bed. It's such a fun creative outlet because everything else is like pinks and reds and pretty colored flowers, and this one is like dark foliage, dark flowers. Really, really love that. So that's what this will be. And then I do have a trellis up here. Sometimes I throw in one last, squash or something that doesn't have an appropriate space on my rounded trellises. Sometimes those get, oh wait, look. So cute. Sometimes this ends up just being run over and not goth, but we'll see. I've got two Green stalks here. Really, really love these. They're just a hodgepodge of everything. Most of what's growing in here right now is lettuce. And then a couple random things. Some peas got in here. Have no idea how. But if they're in there, I'm not going to take them out right now. So sometimes that becomes a little hodgepodgey. We'll see. Let's see. Nothing really to report down here. This was my hot mess bed last year. It was not affectionately named. There was just a lot going in here, and I didn't really like how it ended up looking. And this year, again, I chaos sewed a bunch of things in here, and I regret doing that because I don't know what everything is, but a lot of that will come out. What my goal is for this is to create a bed, keep things like the lemon balm in here, and keep more of the borage. I'd love to fill this up with borage and some things that are kind of bullies in the garden. I do have chamomiles down here. I'd like more of that. So if there could be 3 things that sort of are heavy feeders, heavy competitors, just fill this all up with nice smelling and beautiful things. I think that'll be great if it could be a bed that just comes back every single year. And I don't mind if the roots spread throughout, you know, like peas don't need to be here next year. I really would rather have a couple things up against this this wall that take care of themselves. So that's my goal here. Speaking of things that come back every year and take care of themselves, this is my variegated mint. I think this is a pineapple mint, and this comes back every year. So lovely. It's coming back earlier than it did last year, so I'm thrilled about that. So while that's not really my normal garden plan, I have something normally written out, more specific number of plants I'm going to plant, order of what I'm going to plant them in, the dark ones on the side, the light ones on the side. I'm usually so much more organized, to be honest. I'm really enjoying just going, this bed's going to be peppers. There'll be peppers here. And when I go to plant them out, I will clump them all, so all the jalapenos will be in one bunch, so they're easy to check on and harvest all at the same time. The cayennes will be all together, the bueno mulatas will be all together, the sweet bell peppers will all be grouped together by type. So it's easy to find. I don't want to go scattered across my whole garden, but I'm not going to know which ones are going to go where until probably planting day. I do like to keep certain things like all spicy peppers close together because I don't want my son to go in and grab a jalapeno thinking it's a bell pepper. He's pretty good about stuff like that, but it is nice to say, this bed is yours, this bed is mine, and he knows the difference between a spicy and not. So it is nice to group things, and also just so people visiting don't do that as well. So other than that, it's kind of up in the air, but everything is so green already. I cannot believe how green my garden is already, and I haven't even really put much in. I mean, I chaos sowed way too much, but other than that, so much like chives and lettuces and oregano, and all the garlic is doing fantastic. Kale overwintered. So many things stayed in my garden, and it feels like I have a full garden. So it's kind of been difficult to figure out what goes where because I'm competing with things that are already there, which is a great problem to have. But I also started too many plants like I do anyways. So it's a fun and interesting and feels like a totally different year. Like, it feels fresh. Last year, I started all my plants. I had fresh gardens, like barely anything overwintered. I really could just put things where I want. This year, it feels more like a puzzle, and I like it. It feels like I'm partnering with my garden, and it already has its own personality and its own growth and patterns and preferences, and I don't know, it's fun. It feels like I'm partnering with my garden this year. So anyways, enough gushing about my garden. That's what's growing. That's what's going to be growing. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.